Good morning, children. I am happy to see you once again. We are discussing about the diversity of living organisms. With regards of that topic, we have already discussed about the classification and five kingdom classification. In what basis the five kingdom classification has been classified or proposed? On what basis all the living organisms are classified? What is the hierarchy of the classification? And these all information we have got. And with regards of the same topic, today we are going to discuss this binomial nomenclature and very detailed information about all the five kingdoms. Okay, that is our topic today. Actually, binomial nomenclature already has started, but to make it very clear, again, I continue that binomial nomenclature. Okay, binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature. Meaning of this, every organism, that means every organism is having the scientific name, and each scientific name is having the two inner names in it, or two parts in the scientific name. Okay, every organism having the scientific name. Okay, and but this scientific name is having the two names in it. That is called the system of having the two names in a scientific name of an organism is called as binomial nomenclature. And this theory was proposed by Carolus Linnaeus in the year 1758. Carolus Linnaeus. Why this theory has been given? As I told you already, to rectify the confusion, to remove the confusion in the minds of the people about the names of the organisms, because regional names are very common in India as well as all over the world. In the regional languages, we say one particular organism in a different manner. Suppose if you take the how is Kannada, that is the meaning of snake. But the same thing, if you go in Telugu, it is called as a pamu. How if you go and say in the Telugu states or Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, they'll think about the cow. How means cow. So in the regional languages, there is a lot of difference for the names of the organisms. So that's why to remove that such type of confusion, the scientific name is given to the each to every organism. Plants, animals, human beings, even the human beings also they have the scientific name. Human beings, bacteria, microorganisms, whatever are there, those are all having a scientific name. And these scientific names for the organisms have been taken from only Greek as well as the Latin languages. Why they have taken the Greek and Latin languages? Because these two languages are the forbidden languages. These two languages are the forbidden languages. Means they are not in use at present. From the long back, these two languages are not in use. So there won't be any kind of changes, amendments won't be at all in the Greek language as well as the Latin language. For example, yesterday I gave you one example, that is vitamins. If you take any scientific name from the regional languages, it is for only one particular region. Suppose if you take a scientific name for the English language, everybody speaks English. All over the world, any corner of the world, if you go and speak in English, everybody will understand. But we cannot take the scientific names from the English language. Why? Because there will be a lot of changes. Daily changes are there in the English language. So that's why the scientific name, once it is given to the organism, it should not be changed. It is a permanent name for the particular organism. So that's why scientific names have been taken from only Latin as well as the Greek language. The Carolus Linnaeus, the Netherlands biologist, have proposed this binomial nomenclature. In this, every organism is having the one scientific name, and in that scientific name, two names are presented internally. The two names indicating, the first name is indicating the genus name, and the second name is indicating that species name. First of all, you should know what is this genus, species. As I told you that the classification hierarchy, the hierarchy of the classification is having the some ranks. I told you that already. Ranks, kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, genus, family, genus, and species. This is the hierarchy of the classification. Ranks. So the species already yesterday explained you that a group of organisms which resemble each other, which can interbreed with the other organisms of the same group. That is called as a species. The word species first given by John Ray. So group of organisms belong to the same species or number of species together called as a genus, and number of genus together called as a family, number of family together called as a order, and number of orders are classes, number of classes are phylum in the animals, and division in the plants, and number of phylum, number of divisions are said to be as kingdom. That is the final rank. That is the highest rank in the classification hierarchy, and the lowest rank is species. So the scientific name which is given by this Carolus Linnaeus for the every organism is having the one scientific name. In that scientific name, two subnames will be indicated. In that first subname is belong to the genus, and the second subname is belong to the species. For example, scientific name of mango, scientific name of mango tree, Mangifera indica. Scientific name of mango tree is Mangifera indica. Okay, this is the scientific name of mango tree. In this, you can divide this name, the scientific name, into two parts. This is the first one and this is the second one. The first one belongs to, the first name is belong to genus, and the second name is belong to species. Of course, third name also there, that is the person who kept that name to the living organism. That scientist name should be written in the third name. But it is not compulsory to write the scientist name. Only the genus name and species name is compulsory in the scientific name. Mangifera indica. Mangifera is the genus name. Indica is the species name. Indica. It is indicating that this plant is belong to India. You never find anywhere of the world except in India. Which one? The Mangifera indica. That is a mango tree. One more example I will give you. Azadirachta indicus. Azadirachta indicus or indica, both are same only. This is the one and this is the two. This is belong to genus and this is belong to species. Okay, and while you are writing the scientific name, there are some rules and regulations for the indication of the scientific names. Normally we should not write the scientific names. Okay, what rules are there? That ICBN or ICZN, they are the two institutions of the India. Indian Council of Biological Binomial Nature. Okay, and these two institutions are given some rules and regulations to write the scientific name. What are those rules and regulations? That is first one. Every scientific name, that means the genus name in the scientific name should start with the capital letter. Should start with the capital letter. And the species name is starting with always small letter. You can see here. The genus name starts with the capital letter and the species name starts with the small letter. And remaining all the letters should be small letter only. In the middle of the sentence, middle of this name, no any capital letter should be. Only the starting letter should be capital letter and followed by all the small letters. And there is a little gap between the genus name and the species name. And the genus name is always starting with the capital letter, species name always starting with the small letter only. This is the first and foremost rule. Second rule is scientific name should be written. That means if the scientific name is printing, listen, scientific name is in printing, should be in italic words. Scientific name always should be printed in italic letters or italic words. How the italic words? Suppose this one, Mangifera indica. This is the scientific name and kept in inverted commas. When the scientific name is printed, it should be written in the italic words. Should be written in the italic words and kept in the inverted commas. Suppose we are writing the scientific name. That is the second rule. We are writing the scientific name. When we are writing the scientific name, let me write. How to write the scientific name? Let me write here only. When you are writing the scientific name, it should be in printed letters. That means not italic way. Not in italic way. It should be written like this. Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica and separately underlined. Separately underlined and put the inverted commas. So these are the rules. The first rule, once again I repeat, the first convention, the first rule for the writing of the scientific name. That is, the scientific name should be written, when you are writing the scientific name, the genus name should be started with the capital letter and followed by all the small letters, and the species name compulsory started with the small letter only, and between the genus name and the species name compulsory there will be a little gap. Okay, and this is the first rule. The second rule is, when the scientific name is printing, it should be printed in the italic words and put in the inverted commas. Of course, if you do not put inverted commas also, nothing will be happen for, but when you are printing that scientific name compulsory, it should be in the which italic words. And if we are writing the scientific word, scientific name, it should be written in the printed letters. Should be written in the printed letters and underlined separately. Genus name separately underlined and species name separately underlined, and two inverted commas should be kept compulsorily when we are writing the scientific name. The fourth rule is, scientific name should be taken only from Greek language or Latin language only. Either Greek language or Latin language only should be taken. This is the complete binomial nomenclature. This is given by Carolus Linnaeus, and each to every organism is compulsorily having a scientific name. Okay, I will send through pics some scientific names in the afternoon or tomorrow, and you must write all those scientific names of the organisms in your homework book as well as in your running notes. Okay, let us move to the learning about the 5 kingdoms